Whenever religion is used as a justification for anything, I get lost immediately. You know what I mean? Like,
most of the world does too,
right?
by
Like,
the way.
you know, every Sunday there is a guy in a robe who stands in a room full of people and takes a cracker, says some Latin words on it. It becomes the body of some first century carpenter. Being the most dangerous commentary show on Beyonce's internet comes with its own set of challenges. YouTube time and time again refuses to promote our videos because we have very controversial takes on extremely sensitive subjects. So chances are, if you stumbled on this clip by accident, you'll never get to see our content again unless you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 1 second. But either way, we're glad you're here. And now, back to the clip.
I told you I didn't want to bring religion into this.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
But-
if you must, because there is a big religion component to
but
this
I will
whole
say
thing.
this though, because anybody that's actually going to take a look at this conflict and ignore the fact that there's a blanket of religion that is covering this conflict.
No, you can't.
There's a blanket or an undercurrent
Mhm.
that is driving the motivations, that is driving a lot of the reasons.
So let me ask you a question. Speaking of the religion, like,
Yeah.
where do you stand about it? Like, when you hear, for example, like, you know, like extreme colonists in Israel saying, like, you know, this is our promised land, this is land that we're given. Do you really believe that God is also happens to be a real estate developer who's assigning land?
It's the deal of all
Like,
deals,
you know what I mean, it's a pretty sweet fucking deal. You know what I mean? To you and to your descendants, like, because see, to me, like, especially too, like, when you say that, like, oh, okay, you know, it's in the Torah, it's in the Bible. Yeah, it's also the same book that says that in Deuteronomy 23:13 that if your wife is not a virgin on her wedding day, you have the right to stone her in front of her father's doorstep. So we cannot pick and choose, be like, okay, you know what? We're not gonna stone the women, but the land, no, that's official. That we cannot discuss.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But also, I would let's put the other side too, right? Because then people don't really understand some of the Muslim theology when it comes to Muslim conquered land, right? So it's in the Quran that basically once a caliphate has made dominion over a particular land, it can never go back to the kafirs. It can never go back to the unbelievers. That there will always have to be a nonstop jihad in order to secure and maintain that land. So and by the way, Jerusalem is the hot topic. You want to talk about like the real estate of all real estate?
Yeah. So like,
on planet Earth, it always is Jerusalem, right? Because we have the Temple Mount, which is the holiest place for Jews for millennia now, and for the Muslims it's the third holiest place, which is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, right? Where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven, made his pilgrimage from Mecca all the way to Jerusalem. And so it's a hot button, right? So as Muslims, they see, well, no, we can't give this land to anybody because this is our sacred land, and then the Jews obviously see this as our sacred land as well. But this is why I try to keep I'll keep the religion in this to know what's
you
driving
can't keep the religion out of it though.
Out of it, I get
you know what I
it.
mean?
But to make the case why, I don't say by the way, in Genesis 16, when God promised Abraham the land and everything, I don't use that as the case for why Israel should exist. But I understand that would be the driving force of why the Jews see
again, listen,
the
but see, again, I don't think anybody is denying that Israel should exist. Is the thing is like because remember, they had a choice. I think there were discussions of moving the state of Israel to either Argentina or Uganda. And they were looking at all these places, but the reason why they specifically picked that land is because there was this kind of like this biblical like this biblical connection to it.
Also historical, by the way. We're talking about historical because we had a kingdom there for 1,000 years.
Right.
It's not like it was just like, in this book it said that we're gonna get this land, and we're like, hey, we have our deed over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's what it's
like, no, dude. Like we built Jerusalem, right? Like Jerusalem was like established by King David. Solomon had his first temple there. By the way, a lot of ancient cities like Nablus. I mean, it was called Shrem before. That was a Jewish city. So like there is Bethlehem, right? The Galilee, right? So these things existed prior to in terms of establishment. The thing is for me, man. The thing is for me is that. Once again, we're looking at religion to see what is the motivating influence to what drives people, right? Now we have to ask ourselves this question when we're looking at both sides now. Okay. We got an Israeli side, we got a Palestinian side. What is the Israelis' goals? What is their end goal in this conflict? I know we could put the extremism element and stuff like that. The beautiful thing about Israel is that it is a secular democracy. We're not governing it as a religious government, right? It's not under Jewish law, meaning that if you're you know, that's why we have gay pride parades and
Mhm.
stuff like that, right? Or else people would be getting stoned
yeah.
in that case.
Why
Right?
did I laugh so hard at that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
well,
you know?
might have to-
Hey, I want to know what that says about me.
But
Yeah.
ultimately,
Mhm.
yeah, we might have that, but the beautiful thing is that the essence of what Israel is as a secular humanist, you know, secular democracy, that stands. And the goal is, I mean, ever since the very beginning, is just to have peace. When we look at it on the other side, what is their goals? What is their aspirations?
Mhm.
You know, what is their end goal with this, right?
Mhm.
From what I've seen it now, I might be biased in this. Maybe if somebody Palestinian or whatever can tell me differently, but you know, I see it over when it's on social media, and I've seen it from history, from all the different wars, the conflicts, every, you know, time and time again, that one side would like to have peace, which has multiple times come to the table to negotiate that peace,
Mhm.
and the other one says their negotiating position is you guys all die.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, but again, you know, because if you again just looking at both sides, right? Like, and I know, like, we kind of like we'll be kind of going in circles, just going to be like, okay, you know, it's one thing to come to the negotiation table, but if you're not coming in good faith, then what are we looking at? But going back to the religious aspect of it, to me, like, there is just something like whenever religion is used as a justification for anything, I get lost immediately. You know what I mean? Like, just the same way, like, you know what I mean?
And
Like,
most of the world does,
right?
too, by
Like,
the
you know,
way.
like I grew up Catholic, being told that every Sunday, some guy in a robe, you know what I mean, is gonna, you know, every Sunday there is a guy in a robe who stands in a room full of people and takes a cracker, says some Latin words on it, it becomes the body of some first century carpenter. But if I take a stack of pancakes and call it the body of Elvis Presley, Rob is drinking again. So obviously, you know what I mean? There is a lot there, right?